we mentioned we were thinking about eventually buying a Class A over the Class C that we currently have. We got a comment.
Yeah, we got that question.
Why we might want to do that.
So we thought we'd make a video and talk about that today. So I know we've talked about this in other videos, but briefly, the reason why we chose a Class C in the first place, Justin.
I am more familiar with the ins and outs of a truck platform like this over a bus platform. And so going initially full-time out, especially as we had not previously been like RV owners. Mm-hmm. We had stayed in RVs before with friends and things like that, but we had not owned an RV before we bought this. I would rather have had, and I'm still glad that I have something that I am familiar with the structure and the systems and a gas engine that I am familiar with, rather than having to have taken in all of the RV stuff and everything that I would have needed to learn to manage a diesel bus platform.
So it was a more gentle learning curve.
Yes.
And also, things are going to break on an RV. That's just how it happens. And so you're going to either have to have somebody fix it for you or fix it yourself. And Justin likes to fix it himself because then we're not waiting on somebody all the time.
It's more flexible. I know how to do most of it, so I just prefer to do a lot of it myself.
Plus, a lot of the parts in the engine and the repair is a lot cheaper, right? With gas engines versus diesel. Diesel engines tend to be expensive to repair, and the parts and stuff tend to run a little bit more.
Yep. It's all trade-offs, honestly. I'm sure there's less people, but yeah, you get lots more weight. We'll go over why we are eventually looking into a Class A. But I wanted to let you know that that's why, is that I am much more comfortable with this platform over a Class A.
And I do think the sticker price was lower on a Class C as opposed to a Class A. Now, that's a different question about whether it's worth it and what you get for that, but I do think that it was a little bit less, and that was one factor. It wasn't the only factor.
Yeah, we could comfortably afford this where it would have been a lot more of a stretch. For a Class A, just with our current income and everything that we're dealing with.
So that's the quick and dirty. We knew we wanted a motorhome, but we opted for the Class C over the Class A for those reasons.
Yes. So why are we looking into a Class A if I am so familiar and happy with a Class C?
Yeah, Justin, that's a good question.
Why?
Justin, why?
Why? So there are lots of reasons that a Class A is better than a Class C. They have much increased load carrying capacity. You can hold a lot more inside of a Class A. They tend to have more living space, especially because a lot of the cockpits actually extend basically they kind of flex as living space as well.
Yeah, I've been looking at kind of some of the cockpits would be really nice for me as an office space, as a workspace.
A lot of these systems, so you're talking like, you have proper like wet bays where you can control all your water. There's more places to put things like good battery systems and stuff like that because you can actually carry the weight. And they generally have more power and things like that, so it's easier to do things like tow a car as well.
And I like the pass-through storage, stuff like that.
Yeah.
For if we wanted to have like a bigger grill. Like we've been kind of dealing with like a small grill that fits into our compartment. That it's kind of an idea of kind of having more room for like a bigger grill that's a little more reliable.
Yeah, like I said, there's lots of things that we would like to have with some more living space. I would love if my office were 6 inches wider.
Plus the 50 amp electrical.
Yeah, you'd have 50 amps. So generally, you'll have 50 amp electrical.
So I theoretically could have an air fryer, things like that, which we could technically do in here, but it would be such a sacrifice between the storage space and the 30 amp. It wouldn't be worth it, really. So
we would love one of the bougie Class A's. So we're looking at Tiffins and Phaetons and things like that.
Maybe a Newmar.
And so when you're looking at those, the fit and finishes are also going to be much better than what you get in like a Thor Class C.
Don't they have like a tag axle steering or something?
So some of them do. So you're also getting better bones. So like I said, because you can carry a lot more weight and because they are bigger, you're going to have different systems. You're going to probably have air brakes. You might have a tag axle. Probably going to be a diesel pusher at that point. So you're going to have more horsepower, more torque to be able to pull things. So yeah, it's for me probably a better experience, but at the same time, like I was kind of saying, it would have been a money sink for us.
Well, yeah. I mean, even with a smaller Class A, and if you think about like a 40 or a 45 foot bus, one of the bigger ones, which I think might be more than, we might be looking at a 38 or something.
Yeah, 38, 40.
Our current RV is 32 feet long, which isn't the smallest rig in the world, but it's still in a good range where we can get into a lot of parks and we can find sites. And we were also learning how to book sites and figure all that out in the plan. So I feel like it would have been even harder to be planning and finding sites if we were 40 or 45 feet.
This was a way for us to really limp
Yeah.
into things, you
Yeah.
know, having things that we did know about while still learning all the things that come along with full-timing RVing, because it, especially at the beginning, kind of melted our brains in terms of planning and stuff. We didn't know all the things that we necessarily had to be thinking about all the time.
It was really overwhelming. It was kind of like new job stress, or when you first go to school for something. Like, there's just so much to learn and so much to take in. So.
Yeah. And now it's super simple. So
Yep. Yep.
we consciously, you know, intellectually knew all the things that we had to know because we did lots of research, probably like you, watching lots of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But the emotional reality and the time that it takes to do a lot of these things just was not a thing that we had totally thought through.
So if and when we do get a Class A bus, we have a better sense of what we're in for now.
Yes.
We understand what that is now. We understand what that would be like.
Yep. So most likely, we're not going to change out of this immediately. We want to get the use out of this particular rig that we aim to do, which was to look for where we wanted to live next, experience the U.S. and things like that. And we're still going to be doing that with us.
And we're actually still perfectly happy with the rig. Yeah. You know, the things that we mentioned that would be upgrades in a bus really aren't bothering us in the short term. Those are just kind of a, you know, that would be nice if we get to the point where it makes sense, especially if we found a good deal on a bus.
Yeah. So yeah, it will most likely be, well, number one, we'd love to actually see one.
Yeah.
Like we haven't actually been in one.
That's the other thing.
So that is the thing. That's actually one of her bucket list items, is to actually, she would like to make a friend so that she could go see their bus.
I gotta do it. I gotta make a friend, be like, hey, can I look around your bus? Well, there was the one time we were at the Oregon coast at the really bougie RV park that we're staying at. They had an RV show and there were tons of buses there, but it was the day we had just gotten in and we were exhausted, and it was only open for like an hour or two. And I was so busy getting us set up, I didn't go to the RV show and look at the buses. Like, I missed my show. It was literally right there.
Yeah, we'll probably hit up a show or something as well. But also, it's most likely going to be a used bus, would be what I would imagine.
Well, yeah, especially if you get so that we have a place we can work on it. Because that's the other thing we've been talking about. We're traveling around looking for a place where we can at least have a launching pad so that we're have a place to return to. Because being nomadic has been really fun, but we don't really have a place to work on our RV a lot of times. A lot of these parks will not let you work on RVs. You have to be like sneakily doing it.
Well, yeah, they don't want a Cousin Eddie type of situation, which I completely feel for. That is something that I would, if I owned an RV park. Yeah, you're not working on your engine in my park because you're never going to leave.
I don't want a river of motor oil and a clink, clink, clink with a wrench all night. I get it.
Yeah.
I get why they don't let it.
But also, like, you know, when something breaks in their RV, I'm like, well, do I surreptitiously fix this in 5 minutes, or do I hire somebody for, you know, $300 to come turn a wrench for a little bit? Like,
or do you drive it to the rest stop or Walmart or something and quickly fix it on your way to somewhere? I mean,
there's all sorts of options with that. But yeah, even just having friends we can mooch stock at, really, I would like to have a place where we could,
because that's our problem. So we're both originally not from any of the places we've lived in for a while, but we're both from the north. So he's originally from Michigan. I'm originally from Maine. Not really great for RVing most of the year, and neither of our parents have a place really where we could park our RV while we're visiting them.
Yeah, nobody has either a lot of land to be able to park something like that at, or getting there is an adventure.
Yes.
In a normal car, I'm not taking an RV down some of those roads.
So that's a factor for us.
Yep.
But yep.
So a little bit of meta talk about what we're doing right now, because you've probably seen a lot of videos from just Paige.
Yes.
Justin has been working his butt off at work. Probably going to be traveling a little bit for it here soon too. So sorry if you don't see me a little bit. That's okay.
They're actually flying him internationally, so he's going to be very busy.
Yeah, I have to go visit some of my international teams, so I'm going to go out and do that. But in terms of the channel, we are actually going to start looking for a house here in the Portland area.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely Greater Portland, maybe on the Oregon coast. Yep. You know, kind of
a wide
Northern Oregon / Southern Washington. We're looking at.
Yep. So we're just looking around. We have a rather large set of priorities that we're looking for, and like you just heard, like everywhere from Portland to the coast. Like it's a pretty wide swath of properties that we might be looking at.
So we've been settling down here. We've been kind of slowly starting to do that. We were both busy at work. We've been meeting up with old friends in the area.
Yeah.
We've strangely have a lot of people that we've known over the years between the two of us who've moved out here.
And that's been good. So what you might see more of is either reviews of things that we get here. We might be talking a little bit about searching for a house while living in an RV.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine we're the first nor last people that
We are
would be doing
not.
that.
We are not. I've seen a little content online about it, but I always wanted more content. So I
Well,
think.
because I'm really interested in how you filter houses by if you can park an RV there, because it's not just space. You have to see if the municipality, locality, and everything else going on will let you park an RV on your property.
We're going to get a real estate agent. We're going to figure this out, and we're going to tell y'all what we find out.
Yep. And if we do, you'll probably see me doing things like setting up that property to have a working RV there. So like installing electric and sewer and probably a gravel pad or something like that. So hopefully I can show you how I approach some of that. But yeah, otherwise.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't do some upgrades, maybe some renovations, fixing some old stuff.
Yes.
Maybe upgrade our solar. We have a little bit of incipient solar we've been working on.
Yeah, so obviously, lots of things that we could do. And I'm hoping to be able to bring a lot of that to you. So
yeah, I actually have some videos that they're going to see too on the difference between stationary life and nomadic life, traveling life in an RV, which I think is really interesting as well. Yep. So.
And that is something that I think you'll see a lot of not only RV channels, but RV people kind of go through. They might be nomadic for a year or 2 or 5 and then stop and need to settle down for a little bit. I know some of the YouTubers that we've been watching have actually been doing that, like stopping for a second, figuring their lives out. Some of them even have multiple properties across the U.S. that they rent out.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of these ones that, hopefully we can kind of show you just some baby steps that somebody like us might take in terms of doing that.
Actually reminds me of that text we got from your parents. Do you remember when they were asking us what we're up to?
Oh.
And then they were like, wait, did you guys get sick of traveling? Because we've kind of slowed down and we're in one spot for a couple months here. And you were like, no, it's always been the plan for us. And it really has always been the plan for us. We're going to travel around and figure out where we want to set down roots again. But what's also the plan is we want to find a way to both have that and to travel part of the year to kind of do a part-time regular thing. I think that would be awesome moving forward. Have the best of both worlds, right?
Yes, so that's really what we're aiming for, and hopefully you can come along on the journey with us. And we'll see you next week with another video.